Ding 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 ding.
Fubble time.
Hi, I am Teresa Tomey.
And I am Patrick Ziegler.
And we are
Fubble Entertainment.
This is
Fubble time.
I love how slow that Chiron is. We are like it's going to be really fancy. FubbleEntertainment.com. FubbleEntertainment.com.
Well,
hey, high production value here.
I know. And good job with the ding dings.
Thanks. I got a little nervous because both of our guests are
musical theater people.
Are musical, enormously talented people. So
I don't think they could even compare to your voice of doing ding ding.
I know.
Yay, we already got 6 people showing up. Hi.
So
our friend Jeannie's here.
All
Yay.
right. Thank you for joining us. She is a constant. We love that you are joining us. Please feel free to leave a comment. Patrick and I started this Fubble Time as a way to engage with artists and theater people, stage, screen, sometimes both, just whomever, whatever, as a way to find some connectivity during this crazy time in our life. So we are so excited that we've made it this far and to share with you our next guests.
I know, I'm so excited they're here. I'm always excited about our guests, but these two I've known for a long time, which is so fun.
I know. This is going to be old home week. We have prepared questions, but I have a feeling we're going to go all over.
I know.
Which is good. So let me start by introducing Tony Hummerkhauser. Tony is an award-winning actor, choreographer, and director from Detroit, Michigan. And I just said Hummerkhauser. It's Hummerkhauser.
Hummerkhauser.
Yeah.
Hummerkhauser. Now I'm not going to say it right. Hummerkhauser.
Ask the man with dyslexia. Sorry about that. His performance credits include Jinx, Sparky in the Jeff Award-winning Chicago company of Forever Plaid. He's got a slew of Chicago credits. He was he was Bob Cratchit in A Christmas Carol at the Tony Award-winning Trinitary Rep Company. He was most recently seen as Gordon Schwinn in the Stage West Theater Company's production of A New Brain. He has a mountain of regional credits all over the place. Sweet Charity, Lumiere and Disney's Beauty and the Beast, on and on and on. Anything Goes. I'm just picking out some of the fun shows. Blood Brothers. Also, what? Did the Cassidys do that? That's exciting.
They didn't originate it.
Right?
I love that's our reference. That's so us. Yeah. What 70 star did that musical?
I know. I'm like, are there any other shows? Are there any other shows that we can pull 70 stars into? Pippin, there's got to be 70s people in that one. He, with playwright Robert Joseph Ford, delivered the show Caucus the Musical, which received international attention and was featured by over 200 international, national, and regional media organizations. He continues to work for both the Kennedy and Lincoln Centers. He most recently directed a show that I think Patrick's going to talk about in Steven's bio, so this is very exciting. And he is currently in Kalamazoo, where he resides as I know that he is
artistic director of Kalamazoo Civic Theater.
And he went to Western, where Patrick knows him from, and has an MFA in acting from Rhode Island College. He's a member of Actors Equity, and Patrick's in Steven's bio going to also talk about one of his most recent performances.
Yay.
Is Tony in a nutshell.
Well, so now I'll go to Steven, but I'm so excited because Maggie's here using Scott Lancaster's account. And Maggie is our friend that Steven, I've texted you about her. She's a big fan of Thor, which is so fun. So Steven, I get to announce Steven. Steven is a SAG Award nominated actor, best known for Thor Lundgren for 7 seasons on Emmy-winning Showtime series Nurse Jackie. So great, and I love the tap dance. We'll leave that there. He can currently be seen as Rudy. I'm going to slaughter this name. Snydergaard, I want to know if that's right. And sounds like somebody that would be from West Michigan.
Oh, no.
Law and Order SVU. Other TV appearances include Horace and Pete, Hulu's Difficult People, and HBO's Divorce. This coming Valentine's, Steven makes his feature film debut in Marry Me, starring Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson, which is so fun. East Coast stage appearances include Pipe Dream with Encores, Craig Carnelli's world premiere Poster Boy, Williamstown Theater Festival, The Nerd, George Street Playhouse, and teaming with Edie Falco, his co-star with Nurse Jackie, for a sold-out run of the original cabaret. I love this. The Other Steve and Edie at the Lauren Beachman Theater, which Tony, I believe, directed. He was most recently seen as Buddy in Elf, the musical, at Wagon Wheel Center of the Arts. And I'll save the next one for when we finish this. And the Muni at the Muni in St. Louis, Shrek, the musical, as Shrek and Seussical Horton, and The Wizard of Oz, Cowardly Lion. National tours include Forever Plaid, performances as both Jinx and Sparky, and Into the Woods, Rapunzel's Prince, and Scrooge, which I saw starring Richard Chamberlain. But what I was going to say, the two performed together in Farmer's Alley in Kalamazoo Regional Theater and The Producers together, and which I saw as well. I've seen a lot of his stuff, which is fun, and I've seen a lot of
his. I haven't seen a lot of his stage stuff. I don't know if I've ever seen Steven on stage. I know I haven't seen Tony, but I have seen him on. I've seen him on a lot of his TV stuff, so that's very fun. And before we bring them out, hello,
without further ado, let our audience see them. Here they are.
Hey! That was so much fun.
Patrick, you got about maybe 10% of the names you pronounced correctly. So I'm not.
But it was very Homrich, which is why I went to Homrich, but it's Hummer.
No, you did it right. You did it right the first time.
Oh, you did. It's Hummerkauser.
Yeah, listen to Billy Joel. Get it right the first time.
Exactly. Fun stress is fun. My dad is still, after almost 12 years together, my dad still is. Yeah, struggles with it, so don't worry about it.
People just say Tony and then they pause and they kind of flatline. And
I was doing my Richard Chamberlain impersonation. Don't
get me telling that story. Nope. Don't you dare. Can I say that I'm pretending that we're on CNN because the scroll on the bottom makes me think like we're going to see news about the vaccine and something about, Rebel Wilson losing weight, and I don't know. Is that okay that I've never been on CNN, so I'm sort of pretending.
Or you have a fact checker, and every time we say something, they're
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
We're going to be truthful in this interview, this hard-hitting interview.
This hard-hitting interview with Denise Alicia Gunn, who loves the tap dance, loves you on
that. Thank you.
And then Maggie Lancaster, that we know is here, says she loves you, Steven.
That was a and let me say, since we're talking about it, that I've always said since being on that show, and anytime real nurses, anybody in the medical field will come to say they're fans of the show, but right now, especially, the truth is, even in a time without a crisis, I could not, in my wildest dreams, imagine actually being a nurse. And now, even more so. I mean, I've run out of ways of saying how much I just admire anybody in the health field right now who is dealing with what we're dealing with. And oh my gosh, wear a mask. Why is this so difficult? I don't get it. I'm just baffled. I'm baffled because I think of those nurses and those nurses getting sick and those doctors getting sick because somebody decided they didn't want. I don't want to bring controversy into your show, you guys, but
we're okay. We're about wearing masks.
No, I knew you were, but
yeah.
I don't know who your audience is, Patrick and Teresa. I don't know who.
We it's all good.
I know, I'm totally teasing.
We have a comment from wonderful Julie Nemitz who's watching.
I love Julie. Julie's the best.
By the way, Difficult People is my favorite Hulu show ever. Kind of obsessed. Patrick and Teresa, you both could have created that show.
Oh, yeah, seriously. That was very fun to be on. And especially because I got to work with a longtime friend. I'd known Andrea Martin for decades, but we'd never worked together. And when I found out that all of my scenes were going to be with Andrea, who of course she's a legend. I mean, there's no, and she's one of the nicest people in the world. And that was an added bonus to get to work with her. But yes, you and Teresa are much nicer versions than those characters on different.
Oh.
No, the characters. Yeah.
Well, it is a thrill to have. I'm going to just real quick just say kind of how long I've known the two of you, and just real quick backstory for our viewers. But Tony and I have known each other since college, which is only about 10 years, right, Tony? 5 years, maybe something like that. And Tony knew Mark, my husband, before I knew Mark. And so then fast forward, I'm living in Chicago and I get to meet the wonderful Stephen Wallum, and came to our church is how I first met you, which is amazing. And then we became co-workers.
Yeah, there's so few people that you just meet and you insult. Yes, and then all you have to do. I was laughing so hard. Yes, we became co-workers.
Yes, we did, and we'll leave it at that.
As in, Patrick hooked me into a job that turned into something so far beyond what either one of us could have ever anticipated.
And I'm still shocked you don't have it on your resume. So
yeah, sorry.
But then fast forward, and all of a sudden I'm seeing you two creative, talented, wonderful, beautiful people meet, and you're together. And it's just like when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, and yes. It just I know your humor is so similar. You have such same interests, and I, from what I've known about the two of you, that's one of the biggest things about the two of you is your humor and your silliness together, right?
Well, don't you both just think, and anyone watching right now, that, you know, long-term relationships, if you can't keep making each other laugh after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, you know, that's what, because everything else, you know, you go through different periods, but at the end of the day, no matter what, if you can sit on a couch and laugh and make each other laugh, I think that's just one of the main things that can help anybody stay together, no matter who you are. So
I agree.
It's kind of how I judge friends too. I have to say, if you're not a gut laugher, we're not going to be friends. I need to see wild abandon.
Yeah.
I need to hear that guttural. If you can't go there, we're not going to be friends.
It's one of my favorite things about being at a party with Mark, and we're in separate rooms, and all of a sudden I hear him just laugh so loud.
Huge
He's
laugher.
a huge laugher.
Yeah. But I think that what that does is it shows trust, right? You're able to open up your mechanism, and it's that I surrendered to you, and that's real unguarded. That's real friendship.
And then even going back further, before I knew Mark.
Oh, that's right.
I knew Tony or you or Teresa, because Mark and I in Chicago were both part of this sort of actors that were hired for industrial shows. Basically, not in this particular one, we weren't performing necessarily. We were just like ambiance. And we only did it once together. And it was for some big corporate event.
What do you do? How are your ambiance?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because the theme of it was...
I feel like he's hanging from a chandelier or something.
Almost. It was like holidays or something. So the actors were all dressed representing the different holidays. I was Father Time.
No.
Why wouldn't I be? I don't remember.
I don't know this story.
Oh, you don't?
This is one of those stories.
So it was just literally walking around. That crap is so embarrassing. But yeah, you're just hired to walk around while people eat hors d'oeuvres and drink.
Anybody has a picture of him as Father Time.
Yeah, I don't know. But you have to ask Mark. I don't know if Mark even remembers who he played, but he was.
I doubt he'll remember who he played, but he remembers you guys doing that together, because we've talked.
So long before I met either one of you. So it's just such a small world. It's great.
I know. I actually did one of those too at the Field Museum when I first moved to Chicago. It was a big, huge party of doctors, and I was dressed as a safari person, I think. I don't remember.
Doctors love safari people.
I was Arthur at the department store. That was exciting.
You were Arthur?
Arthur, that
cartoon
rat. I think he's a rat. Arthur the rat.
Aardvark, isn't he an aardvark?
Did you have the thing on?
No, he's that with the big white head,
no.
right?
That one. And then when I took the costume off, I had welts in my. It was so heavy. I probably
Workers'
weighed
comp.
like
Workers' comp.
8 pounds. I was like, it was.
And
painful.
were you actually at a register as Arthur? Like checking?
No, I think I had to walk around the store and like give out. I remember it was sad. I remember I gave out like balloons or something, and I couldn't talk, and I had a helper, and I kind of leaned into the helper, and I was like, "Give that little kid a balloon for his brother," and the little kid said he's dead.
Oh my God! Oh my!
Thanks, Arthur.
Oh my
You
Thank-
traumatized this poor kid as Arthur.
Putting me back into therapy.
I
Thank
just
you,
loved
Arthur.
that story.
I love that Rebecca Donald said wearing a lampshade. Well, possibly, right? Could have done. So, Teresa, why don't you ask our first question?
Yeah, one of the questions we like to ask people is, and I'm so excited to get to know you better through this, is you are theatrical people. This is our Theatrical Couples Month. Where was that born in you? When was that born in you? Did your creativity manifest immediately as young children theatrically, or were you an artist first, or a singer, or I guess a musical theater? Like, what kind of little kids were you guys?
Go.
I was lucky because my father, not lucky, my dad was in Vietnam and we lived in Key West. And my mother was an immigrant. She came from Malta when she was 24 years old. I'm half Maltese, like Pete Buttigieg, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my
We're a brilliant people, Patrick. And, you know,
Clearly.
And they're all gay in Malta too.
Yeah,
What are you saying? Hey.
so my ma, I grew up in a bilingual home. She didn't drive. So we were kind of isolated. So what she would do was we had a hi-fi and she had great Chubby Checker records and stuff from the 50s and dance music from the 50s. So what she would do is our house was immaculate. And what she would do is she would make cleaning fun. So she says, here, let's put these rags on the ground. So we put these rags on our feet for these wooden floors. She goes, we're going to have a twist contest. And she put on Chubby Checker records. And so we twist all around the house and we would clean the house. And then she'd put on 50s music and we'd be doing something. And then she'd grab me and then she'd start like swing dancing with me.
Oh my gosh.
And passing me through and doing all these things. Well, before I knew it, I knew every dance style under the sun because of my mom. And we always sang out loud. We made fun for ourselves. And that's where it started. That's it. I mean, and I love popular music and I used to fantasize about what the stories were of these songs and how I almost staged them in my brain. And
but you didn't really start performing until
way late, maybe a sophomore in high school.
Which
that
was
by
interesting.
accident.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, but your resume said you're a Detroit. Did it say you were a Detroit native?
So when I was about 5, we moved to Detroit. And,
okay.
Oh, yeah, no culture, none really. I mean, it was very difficult because I grew up kind of in a working class neighborhood, all automobile industry, the big three.
Sure.
People 4:30. They ate dinner at 4:30. We ate dinner at 4:30, factory time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very early. Everyone sat in their lawn chairs and their long black socks and their Bermuda shorts on their driveway, saying hello.
You did have Bill Kennedy at the movies.
We did have Bill Kennedy. Yes, we did. And Rita Bell in the morning. She was a very local host. We had a very fancy phone on her. People would call in and she'd pick up this princess phone and people would ask
Please tell me
questions.
you have Rita Bell right there. That would be amazing.
But that was basically me. So I was very lucky. I grew up in this kind of, I was allowed to dream, but within my own parameters because nobody else in my community did that. And then suddenly my high school, out of the blue, never did a musical. And they announced they're going to do a musical. And I thought, I think I'm going to try out for the musical. And I tried out. And I got cast in the Barbershop Quartet, but I wanted to dance.
Oh,
The director, and I said, yeah, but I kind of want to dance. And he said, well, you weren't very good.
oh,
And he said, but you know what I'm going to do? You show up every day at 6:30. If you show up every day, I'll work with you for half an hour.
oh my gosh.
Yes, it's done. By the end of the thing, I was dancing circles around everybody. And then he cast me in West Side Story in the fall of that year. And I was really dancing. And then I was studying in dance studios around town. And I kind of did it all on my own.
Oh my God.
I was very lucky. But you know what? We all have a guiding star, and that's inspiration. And whether we listen to it or not, that's up to us, I guess. You can't put it on parents or stuff like that. They can kind of present it to us, but the natural extension to it's got to be inside of you, I think. Anyway, that's me.
Cool, huh?
I love that. No, I love that about the parental units too, because like my parents didn't. I mean, I was factory kid, and my mom was a nurse, and my dad worked in a factory, and there was always creativity in our home, always. But I never understood that it was something like they never said, "Let's get you in classes" or anything like that. I mean, there was definitely, obviously, some guiding, whatever you just that was. Yeah.
And the thing is, I do think it's hereditary. I do. My grandparents were very creative and very artistic, singers, musicians. And my parents kind of, my mother shunned opera. My grandmother in Malta used to sew costumes for the opera house in Malta. And she'd repair them, and they would deliver them to the opera house in Malta, and my mother would go and look at them. But she just liked the costume. She thought that opera was screaming. She couldn't handle it. So musical theater was hell for my mother coming. She hated me being in musicals. She hated it.
Really?
Oh, my mother came to see me as Tony in West Side Story. And after the show, this is her. First of all, she cried at the end, said, "You didn't tell me it was going to end this way." And the next thing was, she said, "You shouldn't sing songs that are slow.
Oh,
You should sing songs that are fast and peppy."
So basically, your mom wanted you to be Anita instead of Tony.
or not sing. She hated me in musicals.
oh my gosh.
That's me. He's got great stories.
Except for Forever Plaid, though. She loved that.
Yeah.
Everybody loved it.
Well, that was fast.
That was fast and peppy. There you go.
Pepe, yeah.
Point proven.
Pepe the musical. So what's your story, Stephen?
So I was born and raised in Rockford, Illinois, which is the home of the Sock Monkey, by the way. I posted that recently.
Cheap Trick.
I saw that.
Oh, we've got a lot of that. But actually a lot of kind of, and I knew these people. They were older than me. I ended up not performing with them, but went through this period in the 70s of all these people that came out of Rockford.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. That's right.
Joe Mantello, Bob Greenblatt, who ended up being my boss at Showtime. He ran Showtime when I was doing, and I did the one time I worked with Bob before he was president of Showtime, I was helping to paint sets for Funny Girl at the summer community theater, and Bob, who was probably 16 or 17, was like the TD. And I remember him and he was nice, but he was like one kid telling another kid, go paint Fanny Bryce's table, and fast forward 30 years later, and he's the boss of Showtime. I mean, so it was just something about Rockford, Illinois. I don't know what was
Jodie Benson.
Jodie Benson, voice of Little
What?
Women. Yeah. Oh, sure. Goes on.
Karen Sachs is from there, right?
Sachs. Yep.
Somebody Maren Maisie is from there.
Maren Maisie from Rockford?
Yes, absolutely.
And then she went to Western. Did you know her at Western, Tony?
No, she was right before us.
Right.
Before us.
Yep.
But what a lovely person.
I didn't get to meet Maren until she was an established, star. But
she Deneen Muley, she was her babysitter when she was in college.
I never knew that. Oh my God.
When he was playing Evita when we were doing Civic Summer Theater, Maren on her day off comes to a brush up rehearsal of us doing Evita, and to see Deneen do that role. And she was a remarkable person.
Beautiful.
her husband.
She came back to Western for a Q&A kind of thing and was just so generous and so nice to everybody. And what a sad thing.
We got to see her do King and I when she was in complete remission, and she was so healthy. It was that I'm so glad we got to see her do that, because she was flawless. I mean, she was,
I saw her do with Donna Murphy, not Assassins. What?
Passion. Yeah,
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is the thing that Patrick, there's a nice legacy that we have, because I know that she continued to work time to time with Lida Stillwell, who was one of our teachers at Western. And so that shows what she connected to that training that we all had.
I know.
Even long after, decades after she left Western.
My friend Hope, who's from my high school years, says, Stephen, you were one of my favorite characters in Nurse Jackie.
Oh, thank you, Hope. You have the longest name of anyone I've ever seen.
Hope Osterhaus Havman. I think
my fiance's name is Hummerkauser, so you just beat.
So Hope, if we got married, you would be Hope Osterhaus Haveman Hummerkauser.
Wallum.
His name too. So I'm sorry. Quickly, I'll go back. So I was the lovely thing about Rockford, Illinois is, and it's lovely to be an adult now and look back. And I've had this conversation with one of my very best friends is my brother Jeff Johnson Doherty, who we were talking about just when I was back in New York recently, and we were so lucky because I had and it's still there, a creative and performing arts school from elementary school all the way up through high school. Now, by the time it started, I was already I got there in time for middle school, but I had 3 years at a performing arts school in Rockford, Illinois. I still how did that happen? And it's still there. And we had 2 major summer community theaters. We had an equity theater. There were so many unbelievable opportunities for somebody who, like me, who was not a sports kid by any means. I was the creative kid, and I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have all these outlets. And I luckily had, because I watched my sister, who was an actress and a writer. I wanted to do what she did, and my uncle, God rest his soul, who was a playwright, who was my biggest influence and would come babysit, and we would write plays together. And he introduced me to bad movies. And
I remember
you did. Oh, you got to meet him.
I did.
And Tony didn't ever. And I will always say Uncle Jim and Tony would have been the fastest of friends. They're kind of cut from the same cloth. So that I always had, my family was always supportive, and my parents were always, they didn't care what I have an older brother, older sister, and they didn't care what we did as long as we were happy and we did it well and we pursued it. And so I was very, very lucky that they never said to me, maybe you should think about something else. Isn't show business too risky? And that was very, very lucky. So,
and still don't. Well, yeah, I hope not. I hope I've proven myself by now.
Good Lord, Mother, what else do you want? I'm in a movie with Jennifer Lopez. What's it going to take?
People, they are so wonderful.
They ask about you and Mark all the time. All the time. They seriously do.
And Teresa, they asked about you as well.
Yes,
they do. They do.
Well, my mom and you had that falling out about that thing, and she hasn't been able to let it go.
Well,
I don't get it started. Don't.
I think we have to go out and come back.
I think it's you.
It's you too.
Okay, hold on. Did that fix it?
Is that better?
Yep.
I'm not hearing feedback as much.
No.
StreamYard will do that every once in a while. So
I know. I was watching Seth Rudetsky was doing a reunion with the cast of Family Ties, and they had all kinds of technical issues. And I was like, I don't feel bad.
No.
See, everybody, yeah.
What happened to Michael Gross's sound?
Yeah. Was Tina Yothers? We can't hear what Tina Yothers is saying. Not Tina Yothers on the phone.
So let's fast forward a little bit, because we only have like 15 more minutes, which is crazy.
I'm like, this is crazy.
But that won't even begin to cover the ups and downs of my career.
I know. So I want to
ask one question. We have 4 more questions. We're never going to.
So we'll keep it to one-word answers.
So the question I would like to ask for Tony, and then you can ask the one we have for Stephen. But Tony, I love that you're back in Kalamazoo. I don't know if you love it. I hope you do, but I love it. And I just think it's such an interesting thing because I love Grand Rapids. You know, I've gone off to do my thing in other cities and everything, but my heart is still in Grand Rapids, and we're doing projects that are based in Grand Rapids. How does it feel, and how did that happen that you're back there as the artistic director, correct, of the Civic Theater and doing theater?
I'm really lucky. I'm incredibly lucky because, you know, when I did Brighton Beach Memoirs, by the way, on my desk right here, that's my baseball from Brighton Beach.
Yay.
19. He was 19.
I was 19, and I was going to leave Western, Patrick. After my first year, first semester, it was too competitive. That department was hard for me because I walked in and
here's the WMU alumni, Teresa Ruth.
Yeah, Teresa. We were in West Side Story together. So it was hard for me because I'm not a really competitive person. I always look at acting like golf. It sounds very bizarre. Performance. I play my own game. I think about what I'm going to do for me. This is how I sing. This is how I perform. I listen to what other people. I find people that really can inform what I want to do, and I love to learn. But as far as allowing other people to interfere with what my creative thing is, I just don't let it happen.
Nice.
And so what happens is I look at auditioning very differently. I look at it as a negotiation. I walk in, and are we going to connect? Great, we connect. That's chemistry. Then we have something maybe going here, you know, maybe, right? And let's see if this is going to work. And, you know, if it works out, fantastic. And if it doesn't work out, that's good. God bless you. I'm moving on. You know, there's a great Yiddish term, "Geh gesunde Hades." It's almost like, God bless you, but something else is going on. You know, and that's how you got to look at life. Anyway, so I got to Western. I was like, maybe not my bag. And so, and by the way, I come from a poor family. We couldn't afford me going to Western. So a woman named Kathleen Weissert was getting her degree at Western, a teaching certificate, I believe. And she's turned to me and said, or actually her master's. And she said, you know, there's the Civic Theater downtown. You should go do something down there. And so I went and auditioned, and I got cast in Brighton Beach, which is a scandal because you remember there's other people that were supposed to play the parts, and then people in the department hated me. Oh, it was terrible. It was not a good thing. But I walked through that door, and I felt at home. I felt these people care about me. They want me to be the best that I can be. I sat in the artistic director's office, and I swear to you, and I looked around and I said, I would love a job like this someday.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's my job.
It kills me every time.
And so that's this baseball. And so what happened was over the years, I dreamt about it. I wanted to know how theaters were run. I really wasn't interested in, I was like, so how do you program a season? Terry Williams, never open with a Sondheim. You'll take a bath. You know, unless it's Forum.
Didn't you take theater production class? We had to create a whole season.
Oh, we had all those classes, Patrick. Honestly, I think Western theater classes, and then I started getting a little bit of like nervous because I never was prepared. Anyway, but what happened was the Civic really gave me the opportunity to do the thing.
Yeah.
And not be like they were my teachers. They were just like, do it this way. This is the way it goes. It felt like a real theater, and it was. So what happened was I left and I gauged every theater off the Civic after that point. And so I dream. When I dream on that stage. I dream I'm on that stage. And so over the years, the job came to me a few times, honestly. And it was it was always timing. And the timing was just right for me. You know, Steve was in New York, you know, and it was different. Those kids changed me. You know, teaching middle school was a cathartic for me. Who would have thought in a million years? You know, I ran 2 musical theater programs. I ran a musical theater program at Drake University and one at University of Missouri, Kansas City. I mean, I wanted to help people. I want to see people realize their dream.
Nice.
So when you succeed, I succeed. And it doesn't matter what the size of the dream is. If I can help you do that, that makes me feel complete.
I feel like you would be my coach. Can you help realize.
Well, this is the thing. I almost went into the priesthood, and I talked to somebody that ran the seminary, and he said, "You already have your parish. You're a teacher. When you direct, you're going to change people. You're going to reach tens of thousands of people." So
is that why you're wearing what you're wearing tonight?
I know. I feel like I'm wearing a priest.
Oh, and I could be and I'm a monk.
Oh my God, I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. Oh, Mickey Maxwell's here. Yay.
Oh, hi, Mickey. I'm not a priest, Mickey. Anyway, so it's actually a ringer tee, and there's white sleeves down here. You can see it.
So
it's kind of
funny.
cute. Anyway, but
you do look.
So that's why I do what I do. And that's how I came back to the Civic. And I really came back because I wanted to help the community that helped me.
That's beautiful.
And that was really important. It's important for me. And I love what we've been able to create. You know, we're going through a bump right now. I think all theaters are going through a bump right now.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter really has taken us, made us aware.
Right.
And right now the curriculum is dense.
Yeah.
But required.
Yeah.
And I am willing and listening, and I really want to be an instrument of change. And how you do that, I really believe, is starting with children. Children, we know how powerful that is. So being at a place where I'm able to have a wonderful academic conversation in my college town with peers, fabulous. To be able to speak to educators of how we're going to lead this next generation and the type of stories that are important for them to be telling. And are we telling everybody's story? And that's our charge, and I'm up to it. And I'm really looking forward to
all
it.
while dealing with the COVID crisis too.
Right.
And the fact that any theater is able to stay afloat during this is remarkable. So
I will just say real quick, and then we'll go to Teresa's, but I love that you're there again. And Tony, I had the same exact experience with the Civic Theater. And my first show there was the musical Baby. And I gave one of the worst auditions, and I still got in. Marie, piano, she called me for the first rehearsal and said, "Where are you?" And I said, "What?" I didn't even think I got cast because in the middle of my song, I blanked on my song. And she goes, "I could tell you could sing. Come down. You're in the show." Oh my God. And then I got in Noises Off. And when I got Noises Off, that like.
You just find that picture of you.
I found two pictures. I go, are these great? He goes, who is that?
I didn't recognize you at all.
What? Patrick.
Yeah.
Friend Patrick.
But that was such a welcoming energy. So I feel the same. So Teresa, you asked Mr. Wallum.
I want to know for Stephen, how you've gone from musical theater and theater to screen and now to big screen. And did you go, I want to get there? I mean, what was your journey there? It wasn't for
a lack of try. I auditioned for, I was in Chicago for 22 years. I went there to go to college, and I stayed there and just started working as a stage actor. And then eventually got representation, got an agent, and I was sent out on plenty of things that I wanted to do, film and TV, but it wasn't my big dream. I mean, my big dream still hasn't happened yet, but getting closer, to do a musical on Broadway. That has been my dream since I was a little kid. That's been my dream.
It'll happen.
Certainly went and auditioned, for lots of things. And it wasn't until I turned 40 that I finally got something. And so I just had, I got on my first big project ended up being a dream project. And I got to work with the best people in the world. And I made one of the best friends of my entire life in Miss Edie Falco. So that was just an added bonus. And I'm still kind of pinching myself but I always say when I talk to students too, it's like, look, this didn't happen until I was 40. And it's so, you know, everybody's got a different
Yeah.
path. Some people get it right out of the gate. You know, Audra McDonald, deservedly so.
Right.
You know, I don't think she's ever auditioned for anything in her life. And I've worked with her 3 times, and I love her, and she deserves it. She's one of those people that deserves it. You're like, oh yeah, this makes sense.
As gracious as can be.
So gracious. And there's some people that don't have to pay their dues, and you're like, yeah, you don't have to go through anything. But most of the time, people have to, you know, the what's the word I want? I can't think of English right now, so I'll just stare at the screen.
But anyway, it's interesting. I always talk about that too, because I was 40 when we did Come On Over, when we produced the kids show. And it's like, and that was one of the things that I would have never thought in my life I would be doing, and it came mainly because of the woman right there. That's how it came about. But again, you don't know. If you keep pursuing and you keep dreaming, you keep visioning, like Tony having those dreams, things open. Like now you are in a Jennifer Lopez movie.
I never dreamed about being on a TV show. Like that wasn't something that I sat and dreamed of. So there maybe is something.
Oh, when you watched Bewitched, you wanted to be Uncle Arthur.
Oh, right. Just the gay character, Patrick. Gay with you. I wanted to be Aunt Clara. But anyway.
So much better.
So much better. The clothes were
so much better.
And more appearances too.
And those doorknobs. When she opened that bag.
And the doorknobs. Yes. So all of these big things that happened came as a surprise to me. They were not. But yes, there's a lot to be said for staying open to. You just never know. And when it does happen, when you're a little older, I think hopefully it makes you a little more grateful and a little more grateful about it, because you've had some perspective. And you've seen what it's like to be, you know, just scraping and nobody's paying attention and nobody wants you, and you just feel so. It's lovely when you're older and you just, I think, and I certainly strive to take these things with as much gratitude and graciousness as I can.
You know, it's lovely.
Well, my go-to is always, you know, who is Lucille Ball was 40 when she did I Love Lucy.
There you go.
Completely.
Yep.
And at that time, crazy. What were we going to say, Tony?
What were we going to say, Tony? Yeah.
What's lovely is it's lovely to, you know, Steve will like call me on the phone and he'll say, guess who's in the van today? And he'd say, and he just would say, like I just talked John Cullum. I'm like, what? Did you ask him this? And then he would like tell all these stories about John Cullum, right? Or he would, it's nothing's wasted on him. Nothing is wasted. Like he'd get on the train and he would say, oh, I'm going to do a reading up in Westport. And he'd come back, he goes, guess who's playing my dad? Edward Herman is playing my dad in this. So, and so it was always this kid on Christmas Day coming through the door. I mean, when we encounter these stars, that means you guys both know that's. Yeah. I mean, please, I watch all the people that you encounter, and I can see all what they mean to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just been, you know, this. It's not. I always say I'm not starstruck necessarily, like because anybody and everybody can be famous right now, and that means nothing. Like celebrity does not mean anything what it did 40 years ago, but when they're famous, but also incredibly talented and they've actually influenced you somehow, that's when I get struck, you know. And I was very lucky the people that I've gotten to, well, not just on Jackie, but still the people, I'm still such a fan.
I'm talking really highly about the SUV and how supportive they are. SVU, sorry.
You and my mom, everyone says it. I love it. I love it so much.
I just watched the premiere and I was like, there's Stephen again. So they're kind of recurring with you, which is fun.
This is my 4th appearance so far.
I know.
So,
I watched the show. I'm like, he's showing up. I love it.
Yeah, it's a big stretch for me because I'm playing a nurse. So I'm digging really deep. I'm so grateful. And they are the Mariska Hargitay. I couldn't love her. Everybody.
I love that you say that because she seems like a good human being. Yeah.
So welcoming and supportive and lovely. And, you know, that show's been around for 22 years and it is a well-oiled machine. But not only that, they are so kind and nice. And I've always found that the most talented people are also the nicest people.
That's
You
right.
don't have to be a big giant ass
Talent
to get ahead in this business. I don't care what anybody tells you. That's a
talent
lie.
will sniff itself out.
Yeah.
I feel people don't have time anymore. I think people
Right.
just do a mess. Like you understand why that show works,
Right.
because they're very protective of it.
Right.
It's
Oh, and Mariska, it is her ship. It's so fantastic.
I love that.
But not in an abrasive way at all. She is somebody that she has her eye on everything. She's a producer. She's also been in every episode for 22 years now. And it's so inspiring to see somebody that is still so supportive after, because they didn't know they were going to use me more than once. They didn't know that beforehand, and I didn't know that. So, a star could easily come in and just be like, oh, hey, and here's guest star number 3040. No, quite the opposite. And I just think that's lovely.
But this is an interesting
Means a
thing
lot.
that the three of you share. It's interesting to me because all three of you have a really good improvisational vein. You guys are good at riffing. You're really good at being in the moment. And isn't that what life's about? I mean, I think a lot of times people walk into those circumstances and the guards are up or they're putting on a version of themselves.
Yeah.
And
Right.
isn't it about just being accessible? And I think people recognize that.
Yeah.
Especially now. Oh my gosh. I mean, if this whole year has not hopefully opened up so many people's eyes about what's important, what isn't important, what battles are truly important to fight, and don't we all just need to, especially in show business?
Well, it's interesting what you're saying, and I'm going to switch something up here, Teresa. I want to go with this real quick because it's on my mind, and then Maggie/Scott Lancaster spoke about it. Tony, where you were talking about the Black Lives Matter and having that conversation, Teresa's doing a really interesting show right now, and talk about it real quick, Teresa, if you can.
I'm like, this is
That's good.
I know. Didn't you just say I'm in the moment and I'm really talented?
Liar.
I'm directing a show called Ann and Emmett about an imagined meeting between Anne Frank and Emmett Till, and we're doing it on Zoom. And I'm doing it for a theater company, Ebony Road Players, and the hope is that it creates a dialogue, and it's definitely got a Black Lives Matter and all lives, well, not that all lives matter, but you know what I mean? Like history remembered, and how do we communicate? And we have to do it on Zoom because this is what we have to do. And then we did it on Zoom and all of this work, and then our costumer had COVID and found out 2 days after she did it, everybody.
But I will tell you something, Teresa. This is interesting. My friend Christine Toy Johnson is a playwright in New York City, actress as well. And she has just created a work of her own that was produced in Boston. It's very similar for Zoom. And it's now being produced everywhere.
Wow.
People are picking it up. They want her to come and do it here. So creating, I mean, you're doing what we should all be doing. Everybody, at the Civic right now, for example, I did a social distanced version of Earnest, the importance of being earnest.
Mm-hmm.
And all social distance blocking. There were plastic masks. We figured it out as a team. We felt we had to do
without
something.
an audience. So they were all on stage, but they were all. It was beautiful.
Right.
And it was all socially distanced blocked. And
Yeah.
we rehearsed for the first 3 weeks on Zoom. And I gave them all their blocking, all their deportment. Well, we're going into a production of The Tempest in the winter, and we have two versions. We have the version where we're going to try to social distance, and if we can't, we're ready to flip it into this venue, and you do really interesting things. You can do the matte painting in the background with the images over the top. It just forces us to be a little more creative. But what a great showcase during this time.
Yeah.
Somebody just wrote, Bill Graff wrote, I've been surprised at some Zoom theater I've seen that really does work.
Yeah,
It does.
Yes.
And
Well, I want to know, because we're running out of time here.
I know we are.
I just want to know, what do you guys then hope for 2021?
Well-
hope for you two together, and hope just in general, professionally and personally.
Well, it's, how can any of us compare what we're going through right now to any other? It's so strange because everyone's footing is off, right? And it's so hard to try to make plans and dream. And because although there's the giant lights in the tunnel right now, I just feel so optimistic about everything that's happening for so many reasons. And I think that we just want to keep doing what we've been doing, but get back to, doing it in the way as close as possible to, I shouldn't say it now because it hasn't been announced, but I was, I thought I was going to be doing something on stage this past summer, and it's now been moved to next summer. And so I have that to look forward to. And I believe that we're going to be at least better, by summer, I hope. But I get so emotional thinking about the first time that either one of us, because Tony still performs too, he tries to perform in the midst of directing, and he tries to get on stage at least once a year, and he should. But that thought of what it's going to be like to step on stage again for the first time after all of this and see people, and it's almost too emotional to comprehend, but I think I believe it's going to happen. And I just hope that we're all going to look at those things and not take it for granted the way that maybe we used to.
I don't think we will. I really don't.
I really don't either.
Yeah.
Don't you think there's so much more that you want to learn?
Amen. Amen.
There's so much I want to learn, and this is such a nice time to take advantage of that. I know the baking of the bread thing's crazy. Everyone wants.
Love it.
But
Not
what it
crazy
is
at all.
I think what happens is you felt like you didn't have the time before.
Right.
The world was running us, and it was getting really tough. I don't know if and then all of a sudden we have this time. It's not the most ideal of times, but hey, on our worst day in this country, we have it so much better than the majority of the world.
Yeah.
So we have shelter over our heads. I think of running. I do enjoy running. It's terrible on your back, but I find the exhilaration of it. And, we want to finish strong. We don't want to finish weak. We want to push through. And what's happening right now is I think people are getting really tired. And we got to push through into 2021 strong and finish strong. That means protecting yourself, washing your hands, socially distancing. Disease it's the glitter analogy, right?
Right.
Harvey said it best at the beginning of the thing. You go to your gay pride, you're all in 10 men are in an apartment. One decides to wear glitter. How many men leave the apartment wearing glitter?
Oh,
everybody. So
I've seen that. And on that note, I love that that's going to be how we're going to end. It's about glitter.
And this is why he's artistic director of a theater, by the way. You just got a glimpse of what
I know.
he is. So you can see how effective he is. Yes.
And we have to shut down because Mark has to move in for his project. So
we love
you guys. This was
Teresa. What a pleasure meeting you.
Nice to meet
Always.
you.
This was an honor
to
to do this with you two. Thank you so much for asking us. This was a blast.
And I love this was your first interview together.
Yes.
And by the way, Liz Larson is a friend of ours.
I told you, Liz and I played. We did this horrible reading together, and I've loved her ever since. So yes.
And Jamie Pacino as well.
Pacino, yes, crazy.
Yay.
Oh, fun. People are starting to say beautiful dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you.
XXO. You guys, this was a thrill. So
thank you.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks.
Okay.
Their first joint interview.
I know.
Many, many, many more.
And speaking of Thanksgiving,
we're off.
We're off because you're traveling.
I am.
Look at people. That was delightful. So fun. Sit in. Thanks. Oh my gosh. So nice.
That's great.
Wonderful.
Great. They're wonderful guys. So we're very lucky to have them with us. And we'll have a new slate coming up in December. And we look
holiday theme going on.
holiday thing going on for the holidays. So we look forward to enjoying our time with you next month.
And as we always say,
We got to get out of here.
gotta go.
Got to go.
Bye, everybody. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Blessings.